Good day, class. In this video, we are going to continue the discussion on the history of Chinese medicine and acupuncture. In the previous video, we have spent some time to clarify the terms of traditional medicine and complementary medicine. We also have explained that there's no spiritual aspect in acupuncture through examples. Another example that we draw to your attention is the treatment towards COVID-19 with Chinese herbal medicine. This is an example to show you that this old medicine is still work well in modern society. In this video, we're going to introduce another story, and from this story, you will see the value of the history. And also you will understand why you need to study the history, why you can't just study the theory, the content that is designed for this program, why you still need to study the history. Especially when you have confusions, when you're facing problems in your practice, there's something you don't know or something new, especially something new. For example, the COVID-19. If you see a patient with COVID-19, especially at the beginning of 2009, at the beginning of 2020, where do you find the answer for the COVID-19? You can't find anything from the articles. You can't find anything from your textbooks. So what you need to do, you might try to find something from the history. From this example, we see how to use the history. Malaria. Malaria is a life-threatening disease caused by parasites that are transmitted to people through the bites of infected female mosquitoes. Although it is preventable and curable, it causes a lot of death, especially in Africa. The malaria infects about 200 million individuals annually, and in 2012, an estimate of 627,000 people died of malaria. Most of them were young children in Africa. So as you can see, malaria significantly affects the health in African countries. This is not a new disease though. As you can see, the malaria has greatly affected the health of African population. The Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine 2015 was rewarded to 3 persons. Dr. Chu was one of them, for her special contribution on the treatment of malaria, which have saved millions of lives in China, Asia, Southeast Asia, Africa, and South America. As you can see from the previous slides, malaria was not popular in China. It is more prevalent in African countries. Why Dr. Chu focus on malaria? Why Dr. Chu focus on the treatment of malaria? Before we go to the detailed stories, even from her name, Dr. Tu, so Dr. Tu chose her surname, Youyou, this grandma. This lady, she was meant to be linked with malaria. She was meant to be linked to malaria. The reason why I'm saying so is even from her name, Youyou. Her name was a quote from the classics of poem. So there was one very old book. There was one very old classic of Chinese literature. It described as the deers. The deers were eating something in the wild. What the deers was eating was the sweet wormwood. Youyou described the sound of the deer. When the deers were eating the sweet wormwood, the noise described as Youyou. So this from her name is linked to the sweet wormwood, which is the main plant where the artemisinin comes from. Then we go back to the story. This, as I said, malaria was not popular in China. Why she focused her research on malaria? This is actually from the War of America and Vietnam in 1964. In 1964, the war in Vietnam, the America and Vietnam. During the war, both of them got diseases. No one knows what that's. And no, sorry, they knew the malaria, but no one knows how to treat them. The American soldiers, the army, rely on the British, France, Australia to looking for the new treatments towards malaria. And the Vietnam government seeks help from China. And at that time, it was secret. So this program didn't even have a name. They used numbers. Project 523. No one knows what that. It only wrote tells about Project 523. And afterwards, we knew that this project focused on the treatment of malaria for the Vietnam Army. So that's why Dr. Chu focused her research on the treatment of malaria, which was not popular in China.
She's an 84-year-old scientist who almost half a century ago was called by Chairman Mao to be part of a secret military project during the Vietnam War. Now, Dr. Youyou has become the first Chinese person to win a Nobel Prize for science. Her success, saving the lives of millions by using ancient herbs to create a drug to combat malaria. This demonstrates we have a precious wealth from our ancient times, she said after winning the award. Just as the late Chairman Mao said, traditional Chinese medicine is a treasure vault. Her research began when the North Vietnamese appealed to China for help to protect soldiers from malaria. So many were becoming ill, it was compromising their fight against the Americans. Using writings from 1600 years earlier, called the Handbook of Prescriptions for Emergency Treatment, she found her solution. For those who have sought to have Chinese medicine integrated into Western society, the Nobel Prize marks a proud day for practitioners.
It's like awakening sort of a call to the people. Here, there's something in Chinese medicine can be as powerful, as good as any drugs, and or even better and safer and cheaper for conquer this kind of many of the illness in the world.
This is what Artemisia looks like in its raw form. Dr. Tu boiled it up into a tea and then gave it to mice and monkeys. It was 100% successful. But of course, at that point, it hadn't been tested on humans. And so she tried it herself.
The active ingredient she discovered is now available in tablet and injection form.
Each year, unfortunately, about 500,000 people die of malaria, but it would be probably nearer 1 million people if it wasn't for the widespread use of this effective malaria drug.
Alfred Nobel wished those who had brought the greatest benefit to mankind to be recognised. Youyou has that recognition now from those who granted her the award and those whose lives she has protected. Emma Murphy, ITV News.
As you can see from this news, that's the discovery of this drug. However, it is not as simple as what they describe in the news. The reason is because Dr. Chu has faced millions of failures before she found these drugs. One of the reasons is exactly what the lady mentioned in the news. She made the mistake. She says that this drug admittedly was made from the boiling herbs in tea. So that was exactly what Dr. Chu done before. However,
She
she
said
failed.
80.
The discovery of artemisinin, in Chinese, Qinghao Shu, as described in the previous video, the lady says that Dr. Chu prepared the herbs into a boiled the herbs into tea. So this is a normal process of preparing Chinese herbal medicine. We use the raw herbs, either the leaves, the branches, the roots, different parts of the plants, depends on the condition. We put the whole mixture into a pot. We bring the water into rolling boil. After 15 to 30 minutes, the liquid is going to be concentrated. So we're going to fill out the tea. This is the tea afterwards, after boiling. We're going to drink this tea. So this is a normal process of preparing Chinese herbal medicine. However, Dr. Chu failed in this way. So she prepared the sweet wormwood. She prepared the sweet wormwood. She boils in a tea form, and she tests the liquid. Doesn't work. This liquid doesn't work well on malaria. Why she choose sweet wormwood? That's because in one of the classics, it recorded that the sweet wormwood can be used to treat malaria in the Chinese classic. However, when she prepared the herbs, when she tests in the lab, it doesn't work. So she failed. When Dr. Chu failed in the process of making herbal medicine to treat the malaria, she was confused. What's the reason that it described in the classic? The 3-1 wood work very well for the malaria. However, in the lab, it doesn't work. So she went back to the books. She went back to the classic. She read the book, the text. It described that you can use some of the sweet wormwood, the fresh. You soak the herbs in the water. After soaking, you squeeze the fresh herbs into fresh juice. Then you drink the juice. As you can see the difference between the normal process and this process. The normal process, we use the herbs, you put it in the pot, we boil the herbs with water, and then we concentrate and then we drink the herbal medicine as tea. That's one. You drink as the fresh juice. That's the description from the text. So Dr. Tu was thinking, what's the difference between these two processes? Why, when preparing the 3-1 wood, the author didn't recommend to boil the herbs? All of a sudden, she realized that one of the differences might be the temperature. The boiling points, the temperature may affect the ingredients, especially may damage the active ingredients. So instead of using water, she chose the diethyl ether. She used the diethyl ether to capture the 3-1 wood. Diethyl ether, the boil point is 34.6 degrees, while the water is 100 degrees. So that's how she adjusts again. And after this change, she succeeded. The artemisinin become very active. So that's how she formed the artemisinin. This is the earliest record where the 3-1 wood was used to treat the malaria recorded. 走后就处方，走后就处方，走 means your elbow, 后 behind your elbow. So 走后 means behind your elbow. What's behind your elbow? So in the traditional dressing, the Chinese dressing, especially the one you see in the movies, there's a pocket behind your elbow. 救处 means for emergency. Fang is the formula. So from the title, you will see that this book is used for emergency. It's kind of manual for emergency. The author says you need to keep this manual with yourself. You put it in your pocket. You need to carry them wherever you go. When you face the problems, you can take this book out and look for the answers in this book for emergencies. So that's what happens when you face the problem in your practice. When this is an example from Dr. Tu, a very successful example. When we mentioned here, another thing I want to mention is that Chinese medicine and acupuncture is a bit different from the modern science. When you face the problems, don't always focus on the articles. Don't always focus on the publications. If you find problems, look the answers from the old text. From the old classics, you will find a better answer from the old classic than the articles. So that's something you need to keep in mind. In this slide, we try to clarify the terms that we use in our study. The traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, or Chinese medicine and acupuncture. These two terms are exactly the same, so you can use interchangeably. Traditional Chinese medicine includes the herbal medicine, includes acupuncture. A broad sense of acupuncture includes massage, cupping, therapeutic, massage, trainer. These all fall under the broad sense of acupuncture. So when you mention the TCM, it will include all treatment techniques, all treatment approaches in Chinese medicine. The herbal medicine, acupuncture, massage, cupping, trainer. However, it also depends on the context when you say this, especially in South Africa, where we are. If you use Chinese medicine, this term, Chinese medicine and acupuncture, then this Chinese medicine refers to a narrow definition, a narrow sense that refers to Chinese herbal medicine. If you use Chinese medicine alone, it refers to the traditional Chinese medicine. So here, just this definition, as we mentioned previously, this definition is not accurate. Just give you a general idea what Chinese medicine is, or what Chinese medicine includes. In the next video, we are going to discuss some of the phenomenal achievements in Chinese medicine. Thank you for your attention.